And we are live on the YouTubes. Good evening, hello, and welcome back to the Lifestyles of Love with your girl Chris. And guess who the fuck is in the mix? Well, obviously, Micah has come back to, reclaim his territory in the world of life and love. And then we got the old school, throwback, remember the times,
Wow.
original.
But should have left you without
Your
a
girl,
dope.
yeah. Your girl Vic is in the mix.
Hello.
She just couldn't stay away.
No, it's been like
And we're
years,
so glad,
right?
okay, because I missed you. Oh my God. I missed you. And it just hasn't been the same. But tonight, we're taking it back.
To the east
Way
side.
back.
Right.
Back at the time. So thank y'all for joining us.
Of course.
Again. For yet again, another
Thank you
edition.
for having me.
Yeah.
So welcome to you both. So on the Lifestyles of Love, if you're new, I'm so sorry about that, but there are plenty of episodes for you to catch up. You can go all the way back to 2018 if you want to, but
I was awful. Oh my God, I'm so terrible.
We were getting it started, so it was in its early stages, but
I just always felt like this was your. I mean, of course, you're an entertainer, right? So this is your
realm. What I do, baby.
Yeah, like on the phone, I feel like in real life, like I'm hella fun, but on the camera, I was like.
No, they loved you. You always got great feedback.
No, girl. Oh my God, it was just what a time. 5 years ago was a time. What a fucking time. Anyway,
everything pre-COVID was a time.
Everything was.
But yes, now Vic is alive and well down there in the boot.
Still.
And she's married now.
There were some naysayers.
There were some naysayers.
I was going to be back. I left at I left at the beginning of COVID. Shit was crazy.
Damn.
Yeah, I left in like the end of March, beginning of April 2020. I've been here for three
when it was getting thick.
Man, that like we were learning what it was. No, actually we weren't. We don't know what the fuck it was still.
Yeah.
Had no idea.
No, we didn't, because I remember my dad was like, he didn't want me to go. I actually pushed my move a few times because my dad didn't want me to come because he didn't know what was going to be out on the road. And he had to still be there to help take care of my mom, so he couldn't just up and leave. And they both had, they had, previous like health problems and stuff like that. So it really wasn't wise for them to go anywhere. So he was like talking about martial law and all of these things. And yeah, it was, what a fucking time.
Like it was about to be a civil war. Never know. You never know.
Man, that shit was crazy. That curfews, it was, yeah.
Right. Y'all be having, she's living a different lifestyle now. She's down in the South, so they have to like run their water so their pipes don't freeze, and they have to like.
Okay. I thought you were about to say something else. Like I got to go to a well or some shit.
No, oh my God, not the outhouse.
Right. Yeah.
There was a lot of stuff you were saying that was kind of crazy to me, but
the freeze advisories, the heat advisories. Right. Nuts. A couple weeks ago, we had like an interstate buckle because it was so hot outside. Yeah.
That's wild.
You know what?
So here's the thing: like we have humidity here, and like I've heard Vegas is very, very hot right now. So people from the South feel like Vegas is hot because it's a different type of heat, and then we come down here, and it's just some whole other shit because it's humid. So out here, it's like, it will say it's 90 degrees, but you have the heat index, so it's going to take it up some. And this is just, I have not gotten used to this. I can't. I cannot get used to this fucking humidity.
I mean, I ain't got used to 110.
I mean,
don't think you get used to it. You just
learn to
live in it and deal with it and hibernate during the day.
Yeah, bitch be at work. See, back in Vegas, I used to work nights, so it's different. Now, Yeah, vitamin
It's a
D
different
levels are
life.
normal now, because
Yes.
son. But anyway,
Yes.
yeah,
And Vic is married now. She ain't
he's
gotten
married
hitched.
now. Yeah,
Good for you, Vic. Congrats. I was there.
thanks. Yes, you were.
It was a good time. Super country. Loved it.
It was not super country.
Mm.
What was country about it besides the location?
The location.
Besides the location,
Yeah.
I mean, that's a pretty big
I
one.
mean, it was
Yeah.
a very well decorated establishment.
It was beautiful. It was gorgeous.
On the
Okay.
inside. On the inside.
You had some cowboy boots on at one point. That was
I
pretty
sure the hell
country.
did. And they were purple. Yes, I sure did.
And the reception was at the Waffle House afterwards, which was also very country.
Hold on. No, we had a reception. That was the
Oh, sorry. We had a
party.
reception. And then the after where
Party
everybody
was
left
at Waffle
to
House.
was at the Waffle House, which is pretty country. I ain't say it was bad. She was country as hell.
That was fun.
Shout out to the Waffle House. Except that Waffle House, because there was a bitch in there that was scamming folks for cash. And we don't know your name, miss, but we know your Waffle House.
I know that fucking meth mouth bitch.
So I bet not ever see you. Okay.
We don't even go to that
and,
one. I was just by the hotel. Yeah.
I've been missing out.
And then there's a lot of Waffle Houses, so we don't discriminate. But
no, we have our location. You have your location that you go to. That was not our regular, but it was just closest to the hotel. So we had that motherfucker turned out though.
Still tasted good.
Yes, and every single seat in that motherfucker was from us.
Yes.
Yeah.
So there's been a transition. There's been like a over the rainbow for Vic. So now she's living in her pot of gold over there.
Oh my god.
She's a homeowner.
Oh my god.
She's living.
Hey now.
Yeah. That's a new thing too.
Man.
Yeah.
That's supposed to be the American dream. Okay, yes. I guess whatever. It's nice because either I'd either be paying this for a mortgage or we'd be paying it for an apartment, which is insane to me. It's just the fact that I'm this kind of adult right now is what's crazy to me. Because I lived the auntie life. Let me tell you, I was gone. When I was in Vegas, I was working 312s unless I was working overtime nights, so I was gone all the time. But now,
now you
settled down.
It's a different life. It's a different style of life.
It is.
It's beautiful.
To get out of Vegas though. It is. You know what I mean? I love my little bubble so much. I love my little bubble. Like I could just come home and just like shut the world out. I go check up on my parents. They live like a 2-minute drive. And I come home and I'm like, I love it. So totally different. I needed it. I needed to slow down. So
she needed it. She needed a lifestyle change, and she got what she paid for. So
I did.
We happy, we thankful, and we are forever.
Like,
yes.
We
are forever thriving in our lifestyles.
You said you've been to therapy?
I've been to therapy. I had to go.
Amen.
When did I move here? 2020. Yes. So
relationship therapy or just?
No, I did my own personal therapy.
Okay.
We did like pre-marriage counseling.
Yeah.
But
hallelujah,
which I highly recommend. Yeah, I highly recommend that. No, I did my own therapy. I had to.
Did y'all do that, Micah?
Absolutely, 100% still.
Good job. Okay,
I highly recommend that. So what was I saying? Oh no, I had to go to therapy because even though I left and went to a new state, at a very like crazy time. But I was so drastic for me. I mean, like the pay cut that I took, like all of that, right? But I was like, I just remember in 2019 getting off that plane from Mardi Gras, and I told my friend Amber that was with me, I was like, I'm moving back here. And a year later, I was there.
Just your experience there, Mardi Gras?
No. So my dad's from Northern Louisiana, and so in the 90s for a couple of years, like we were up and down the state. We moved back to Vegas, and then in 2011 or 2012. My dad was out here for like a year and a half between Baton Rouge and New Orleans, working. So him and my mom were here. So I was like always coming down, and I just love it here. I've always loved it here. Dope. So 2019, I go to Mardi Gras, get off the plane. I'm like, oh, I'm moving back here. And then I end up meeting my husband.
Why you went there?
That same night, the night we landed.
Look at God.
Look at God. I was about to say, look at God.
No, we didn't get together till like a year and some change later, like official. But yeah,
that's dope, man.
That's really dope. So the cherry on top of the cake, or whatever, the icing on the cake, whatever the saying is. Yep.
That's dope, and he's a good guy. You know,
he's a great guy. Great guy.
Cheers to husbands. Yes. Cheers to first husbands. Cheers to
second
husbands. And second husbands. All right. Yeah, exactly. Cheers.
Yeah.
And so now that you are, go ahead.
Excuse me, real quick. I wanted to say, the fact that I moved, and everything, I had some rough couple years before I left Vegas, so it wasn't changing the state that because I went to a new state, I was brand new. Like, I had to do the work because that shit was hard. I had a rough fucking transition. I wanted to come back to Vegas, but I stuck that shit out. So that's where the therapy came in, because no matter I was in Vegas, I was in Louisiana, I was still the same motherfucker. And that was the problem. So I mean, just keep it a buck,
Yeah.
That's what got me in it. That's what got me doing it. So I hear you.
Yeah.
Shout out to men in therapy. Amen. Hallelujah.
I was problematic. So I needed to, sit down and address various issues that I didn't even realize was on the table, So some of the things I was aware of, and I just didn't really know how to address them. And some of the things I had no clue. I didn't know about no type of depression and none of that shit, So when I started talking to my therapist and I'm hearing things like there are undertones, sometimes overtones of depression in the way that you talk, I'm not realizing none of it. There's guilt that I carry. There's all different kinds of things that I just, I had never confronted. I never even thought to confront. But I knew that there were issues that I needed to address. And a lot of it was really through my wife, man. She's been on a therapy journey. And when I met her, I was like, man, fuck out of here with that. Like, in my brain, it was like, we don't do therapy. That shit don't even make no sense before. See, it's common now. So it probably sounds crazy. You may be listening and, it's a common reality now. But at the time that I met her, nobody was really talking about therapy. Certainly not men, certainly not black men. Right.
How long ago was this?
Certainly not.
That I started going, or that we actually met. We've been together since 2013. So the end of 2013, Christmas Eve 2013. Since then, so it's been a decade. When we met, that just wasn't a discussion. You know what I mean? Right. And so when she started talking to me about different things that were going on with her personally, never mind stuff that we needed to deal with, right? But literally just her own personal journey, I just kind of looked at her like she was crazy. And then I started.
Okay, when was that?
It was relatively early. I want to say 2000, sometime maybe mid to late 2014. So like a year in, she got to talking about some things that she had experienced in her life. I mean, I had known a lot about her over the course. I learned a lot about her past over the course of that year that we were together. That first year that we were together, we learned a lot about each other. We spent a lot of time just talking, And so it just kind of carried over into the past decade, and we just talk all the time now, right? But in the beginning, we talked so much. There was like such a friendship.
I love
that. That, she told me about things, and some of them I couldn't understand, but she was so forgiving for the, about the fact that I didn't understand shit, and that my criticisms of what she was experiencing and what she was talking about wanting to experience were it was just a foreign idea to me. And that just because I didn't understand it, that's just the way that, a lot of times people handle shit that they don't understand. She was so forgiving of that it opened my eyes slowly but surely to the fact that, maybe there were some things that I needed to look into, that I needed to talk about, that I needed to address. And so she had gone to therapy several times prior to my first, time.
So when was that?
2019, I think. 2019.
Whoa.
So you're like 5 years.
So she was very patient with you also.
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
that's a long time to wait.
She wasn't like trying to get me into therapy per se. It wasn't like
but if you weren't even on her level and you weren't able to comprehend what, like, the way she was talking to you, and like things that were coming out of her mouth were like strange and unusual.
I think a part
it takes a lot to be misunderstood, right? But obviously you were listening and you didn't let her feel misunderstood, but just like, tell me more.
No, she felt misunderstood. Absolutely.
Oh, okay. See, that's how I always felt. Yeah.
I put that on her to feel misunderstood with my reactions. However, that was really just a small piece of the many layers that we, connected on. So even though I didn't get her in that aspect of it, I got her in a lot of other ways, and she got me in a lot of other ways. And so her patience in that respect, that's not to short end her, the credit that she deserves for being patient. That's not to short end it. It's just that we had other layers, right, that we connected on. So yeah, I learned a lot. And some of the things that she went to therapy about, she kind of just explained to me the things that she was experiencing, the reason why she made sense out of going to talk to somebody, how, excuse me, my perception of it was so limited, and so misunderstood. I was thinking that I was walking in there and having somebody tell me about how to live my life. Versus walking in there and explaining to someone what my life was like and having them ask me questions that lead me into making better decisions. I didn't understand anything.
Or why you do the things you do. Why you
do the
think
things you do. Why you think the way you think. I didn't understand how different my viewpoint of therapy was from what it was actually like until I walked in there. And then when I walked in and I started, spilling my guts. And it happened at a weird time. And I think it kind of peaked at like a weird time as well, right before we got married in 2021, right? And so we're in the heart of the pandemic. Right before our wedding, there was like a big blow up with my mom. And we had conflict with her mom, kind of like all in like that same window. So there was like a lot of like chaos that happened. My mom ended up not being at my wedding. My younger brother was supposed to be one of my groomsmen. He ended up not coming to the wedding. Me and him had a big blow up. And so her mom was at our wedding. And so even though because of, with my mom not coming to the wedding, there was like that thing there. And me and her mom had kind of like sort of ironed out the issues that we had. I was still feeling the way because of, there's like, we had this issue that wasn't exactly resolved, but it was kind of resolved. Right. And then it was also this issue with my mom that happened at the last minute, and it shut everything down between us. And, so with that being the situation, it was like an extraordinarily, it was a bittersweet, much more on the sweet end for the wedding, but there was like this bitterness that was there with the situation, because it was like a beautiful ceremony. I don't know if you guys seen the pictures or whatever, it was like a beautiful ceremony, beautiful everything.
Beautiful.
Right? It was. We had a great time, and it was an amazing night. But then it just. At the end of it, when it was all said and done, when all the smoke had cleared, and the next time we had to revisit therapy, I'm sitting down and I'm just kind of reflecting on everything that had happened. It was just so, it peaked at that point where I really understood that there were some things in that moment that really were eating at me. So it all started with my wife, though.
Have you
See, and that's beautiful though. At least it happened, because a lot of times, we just go around and around in circles, or you would just broken up.
Yeah, I mean, if it was
not because you didn't go, but it was like, if you're not willing to examine yourself, I can't do this anymore. Like, I can't do this with you or for you.
Yeah, I think at some
you can't hijack my therapy.
Yeah, I think at some point it probably would have blown up, but my ego wasn't gonna play a role in whether or not I moved forward with therapy. Like, I went because I was genuinely interested in learning some things about myself that maybe I didn't know. And it was due to the fact, see, I'm the type of person that you can't battle ego for ego with me, or you're gonna lose. And ultimately we're gonna lose, and she doesn't have that. So she leads with compassion. So it makes it a whole lot easier for me to follow her lead when she's leading, because of the fact that she's not worried about whether or not I actually, she understands time. So she gets that, just because of where I'm at, you may not necessarily be there, but it doesn't mean that you can't get there. And it doesn't mean that you have to be there right now. It doesn't mean that you have to catch up to me, because, our experiences are different. And so, it's just there are significant things that about the way that she is that complement who I am. And that's what led me to that point, so.
Absolutely. That's partnership.
Yeah.
Exactly.
That's partnership right there. Yeah, because it's, see, we had, like, he believed in leadership and I believed in partnership.
Yeah.
So we had to really make some compromises there. And I think we've done very well, actually. But that partnership is like, even you being the man, right? You're supposed to be the leader, right? There's moments where you're just not going to be 100%. And as your partner, you know what I'm saying, I have to be able to step up, and vice versa. So
I don't think you can be a leader without understanding that you need to sometimes step back and allow your partner to lead. I don't think it's possible.
Yeah, we were just talking about that, Micah. We were talking about that last week.
I think it's possible without that ability. If you don't have that ability in your, then you can't lead. You're not effectively.
Yeah, we were talking about
your arsenal,
Kiki and the baby daddy thing.
Yeah.
And how he had responded, saying something about, like, this is my family, this is how I want it to be, this is how I want, whatever the fuck. And it was coming off like, I'm the leader and she's supposed to follow. She's not supposed to be out here being independent of me sexily or whatever the fuck it was. And so we started talking about how can you be an effective leader if you've never seen leadership, or if you've never experienced true leadership, then how the hell you know how to lead somebody?
100%.
And maybe you shouldn't. Or maybe there's times where you should, and maybe there's times where you shouldn't. And maybe that should be something that just happens naturally, or maybe it's something you guys need to agree upon and talk about. But either way, it's like sometimes a leader, like the leader of the Lions, is at the back because he's watching to make sure that everybody gets where they're supposed to be. So it's not always about like being in the front and like, y'all follow me. It's like,
no,
Yeah.
I think
there's different levels to it.
Yes, absolutely. Depending on the pack, I feel like the leader plays, it's it's the same role, but just maybe, and it's the same position, but their mannerisms are going to be a little bit different. I feel like a man I think the word man is an action. And so because you have a penis, right? Or you are a male, you're supposed to be the leader. Like, nah, because I think a true leader also listens to, their village. It's not about like, you're the last say so, you're the, you have all the great ideas. Like, nah. And so this shit is an action. So you don't get to just call the shots because you got to dig. Because sometimes you're wrong, sweetie.
I'll give you a great example. Me and my wife went out to Oatman to go see the donkeys, right?
I'm sorry,
that's a what?
To Oatman, Arizona.
Oh.
They got like donkeys roaming the fucking streets and shit out in Oatman.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we went out there to go see them. And on the way back, there's two different routes, right? The way that you came in, and then there's like a side road that goes into like a little dirt side road. So when I pull up the maps, it takes you down the side road. And I didn't really like the way that we came in, so I didn't want to go back that way. It just wasn't really, it wasn't really comfortable for me the way that we came in. So I wanted to, when the map said go this way, I'm like, oh, bet we got a shorter route. We're gonna be up out of here. So ultimately, we ended up on a dirt road with some crazy rocks and you know what I mean, like all type of shit. And we're in like a regular sedan, so our car isn't exactly built for the terrain that we were on at all by any means. You know, like maybe a SUV or a pickup or whatever would be more equipped, but in a sedan, it was not equipped to be driving on that terrain. My wife is telling me, yo, let's just go this way. Let's go back the way that we came. We know this way. There's no point in swinging back this way. It's a dirt road. And I'm like, but it's telling you that once you get past this little quick space right here, you're going to end up right back on a regular road and you'll be straight. Fuck that. We were in the dirt. I mean, in the rocks, like rocks, big fucking rocks. We're driving around, trying to get around big shit in the desert. We were there. We were stuck there for like an hour before we finally got back to civilization. We don't know where the fuck we at. We in Oatman. It's a bunch of, like when we got down there, it was a bunch of like Trump shit, like all in the area. And you know what I mean? As we're driving down, it's like guys off the side of the road with pistols on their hips, like, you know, out and, you know, looking off because they're in the desert. So they probably just shooting at random shit. And we're just driving through regular city folk, black folk, and you know what I mean? And this unfamiliar territory, you know,
downtown.
Yeah, they got their pickups, they got handguns, they got, you know what I mean?
Confederate flags.
They got big shit going on. And I'm like, yo, this is like, and I'm trying to play it cool. She is not cool. She, you know, and she's like, yo, I told you, like, we should have just went this way. And had I just listened to her, right, and went right back to the way that we came, regardless of whether or not it was comfortable for me, if I had just listened, we would have been back home.
Let me just say,
away, you know.
Those are the moments where a woman wants to murder you. We're not going to do it.
Yeah.
But those are the moments.
And that's not the only time.
Oh my God.
And that's a pretty
extreme
example,
God.
right?
You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's a pretty extreme example, but it's just an example of what I mean when I say, like, you don't always have to lead the way.
Let me tell you, I don't know, you might know the game. Some other young man may not know. When a woman's like, okay.
You fucked up. Okay. That's what happened with her. She did that. She did that. I'm like, look, we just gonna be around. Look, right around this corner right here. Don't even trip. We're gonna be right back on regular road. We'll be driving straight. She like, all right. She was not happy. But she knew
that's when my teeth are grinding.
Right. But she knew my ego. She knew my ego was not about to let me be wrong, even though I was very wrong.
And it's not worth the fight. It's not worth the fight in the moment. It's more satisfactory and it's more satisfying to be later be right.
Yeah.
I'd rather be right later.
Double the fuck down when y'all wrong. Yeah. That shit is great.
Yeah.
No, so by the time it's because I'm gonna be right later. So this is it's part of the plan. When she says okay, I'm gonna be right later. That's all that means. So you're gonna be wrong now, and I'm gonna be right later. Cool.
We're gonna play a long game.
You're right in a situation where you end up dead. You know what I mean? Like if there was something really fucked up out in the because we didn't know where we were at. Like explain it
going down the hill. Told you
how uncomfortable it was to be in that setting, but we didn't know where we was. It just looked like the hills have eyes all the fuck over the place.
Nah, bruh, I did that before. I was on accident.
I'm so mad.
It was a real stupid mistake, and by the time I get to the point of being able to admit that she was right, it was already too fucking late. We was already so deep in there. I couldn't turn back around.
Hey.
You know what I mean? I couldn't turn back around.
I tried my best not to say, I told you so.
She's not.
I don't like saying
that. It
not
comes out sometimes.
Let me say it in a different way.
It comes out sometimes. I'd like, or, well, do you think we should have such and such?
I just say, I already said that, though.
I'm not that person.
Do you think
I said that?
I
think I said that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Pretty sure I'm not having a fever dream over here.
Yeah.
Right.
Pretty sure I'm not sleep talking. I'm pretty sure I said that, but
yeah.
All right.
Yeah, she has a calm rage about her, so she doesn't.
Oh, a calm rage. I love that.
I don't have to. She doesn't get mad often, like at all. And I'm talking about I can count like on both my hands how many times over the past 10 years that she's been upset.
Good for you, Micah.
That's not compared to me. I mean, I couldn't count on 50 people's hands and feet like how many times.
Okay.
But she doesn't. She just doesn't get mad, and when she does, she just has a very calm, cool, collected anger about her. So if she is ever upset at me being stupid, she just eats it, you know. And then, but I think again, that's just a compliment to who I am as a person. Not everybody has that ability, and it's no knock to anybody who doesn't have that ability. You can't always not every guy is like me who needs somebody who's gonna be, you know, chill whenever they stupid. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
Not everybody is like that, boy.
You know, I'm over here saying love it. Like I love it for you, but do I love it for her?
No.
Well, she's fine. I mean, if she's got the ability, she has the therapeutic ability to
I know
to silence her rage and not demean her man or disrespect her man or
every time I think about her strength, I think about the whole you know, God puts the most on his strongest warriors and shit. Like she don't need all of this weight. Like, you know what I mean?
But you know what? I don't know. A woman, I don't know. I feel like a woman's love is just so
tolerant,
different. No, and sometimes, but because, and you know, that's why like the single father you know, thing is so interesting to me, because there's just a lot of love that has the nurturing that comes with, I feel like, instinctively with being a woman for the most part. Some women just don't have it, you know. And I feel like a lot of men don't have it. But mostly, yeah. And so it's just
we don't have what? I'm sorry.
You don't have this like this softness, this nurturing.
The nurture.
Yeah, a lot of times.
We weren't taught it, and that's not
some do. Right.
Some of us do, and that's not an excuse. That's just the honest truth is that a lot of us, by the time we're of an age where we need to understand how to be soft, how to be compassionate, how to have that ability, a lot of the harshness is too embedded in us, right? And now it's a part of who we are. It's a part of our pride, and so to strip us of our pride is a big deal for us. Like we carry it, you know what I mean? With
Do you think that created the tough woman, so to speak? Not the tough, the more masculine, whatever the fuck they're calling it these days.
I think it very much created it. I think it was a combination of man's I think it was a combination of man's you know, inability to be emotionally connected at times, at important times. But I think there was also the combination of, you know, once upon a time, men actually were capable, and they took, you know, holding down the household, at least from a financial standpoint, they took it a lot more seriously. Where at some point, you know, probably during the Reagan era or around that period, you know, where different things kind of fucked up the family structure. And I think a part of that, you know, we fell right into. I think some of it is, you know, if you can go back to the time where Malcolm X says that the Black woman is the most disrespected woman in America, like it wasn't a long time ago, but it was kind of a long fucking time
ago.
Wasn't.
Because we know people who were there.
For him to have been saying it at that time, though, right? Where we were not anywhere near in the space where we are today, where there is the tough woman, right? The more masculine energy type woman that exists. We weren't even in that fucking space. We weren't anywhere near that space at that point, other than unless you were dealing with the women who were on the front line, the Assata Shakurs and shit like that. You know what I mean? With that type of energy. But they're even within the confines of their people, there was still a softness, right? They were strong when they needed to be for the fight outside. But now we just have women that are a lot of times that are just extraordinarily strong. And I think that a part of I don't want to say extraordinarily strong, but extraordinarily masculine in comparison to that period of time. In comparison, not necessarily like in reality, but in comparison, right? And we have that now, and I think that a part of it is because of the fact that the emotional disconnect has created a problem where it is difficult for us to step aside when it comes to how we feel and put you guys on the forefront. And so a part of that is how you end up feeling disrespected. A part of that is how y'all end up feeling not protected, is because of the fact that our feelings, our needs, our whatever, as much as we may lead through whatever the situation, as good as we may be as leaders, without that emotional connection, without being able to empathize with what you experience, without being able to look at y'all and say, I need to shut up and listen for a few minutes. And then I need to respect what you're saying, even if I don't agree. Without that, this is what we get. So yeah, I think in a lot of ways we are responsible. And I know a lot of men probably gonna hate hearing that shit, but I think that that's the truth.
Whatever. Did you see the Barbie movie, Micah?
I have not yet seen it. No.
Okay, well, I need you to see it.
No, we're gonna see it. I got snapped on because of it. I ain't take her to go. I ain't get dressed up with her as Ken and let her dress up as Barbie and go. I got snapped on because of it. I know.
See, that ain't right.
I know.
She was born in the 80s.
Yeah. Go see it.
Yeah, I think go see it. The 80s babies, early 90s. I mean, Barbie was it.
Okay? Yeah,
Barbie was it. And I said we were lucky because we grew up in the era where there was every color Barbie and every color Ken, and kids who were born in the 70s. Kids who were born in the 70s didn't get that. They had black and white. Kids who were born in the 60s just had white.
Yeah.
And so this era, like this is our like thing. Because I didn't have baby dolls. I mean, maybe I did. Maybe I had some baby dolls. But very few. It was all about the Barbies. But the reason I was asking is because the movie itself, the film, is very much kind of juxtaposes the gender spectrum or the gender idea. It like tosses it on its head, and it really just shows what the world would be like if it was the opposite, which doesn't make it any better. It's just the opposite. And women would do the same thing. Women would behave exactly the way that men would behave if it was,
of course,
power if it was all about the matriarchy instead of the patriarchy. Like it wouldn't be better.
Yeah,
so
power is
it'd be the same.
As long as power exists, and as long as power is stuck within one group of people, there's gonna be, you can't evenly distribute power. That's just the complexity of power, right? You can't evenly distribute it. So somebody is going to have more power than somebody else. And because we're human, people are going to look out for their best interests. There's going to be a situation where power is going to result in a misuse of it. And it's going to be, regardless of what it is, you're right. Regardless of whether it's the patriarchy or the matriarchy, it's going to be abused in ways that are not going to benefit. I was actually just with, you had bringing the whole situation with Jess that just happened with Jess. That was actually the one point that I was going to make. So I'll save it for when.
Oh, okay. You save that then. You save that for our next or our continuing topic, where we're going to speak on the trans nation, the translation nation. Yeah, we'll get to that because some things happened. Some things happened this week. Things always happening out there on the internet. It's just nonstop. The internet's 24/7. So, we'll get to that. I think in the way of hot topics, we also heard that, well, because we were speaking about Black love, there were. Okay, well, Beyonce's mom is getting a divorce. I'm just going to drop that bomb out there if you've been living under a rock. Cool. But Beyonce's mama is getting her second divorce.
Yeah.
And I don't have this confirmation, and maybe somebody does. Let me know. I heard something about a baby, and I'm really hoping that did not happen to Tina Knowles twice. But somebody said something about that happening twice, and so I'm hoping that that's not true. But damn, either way, Tina Knowles is a beautiful woman. And I don't know. What'd you say?
Where did that come from? The thing about the baby.
I saw it when I had that video posted. It was in the comments. Somebody had said something like, he's having a baby, or that's what I'm saying. Like, I don't know if it's actually real and somebody saw something else, or I don't know. I hope that's not real, but that
information is so accessible. It's crazy.
Yeah.
True. So with that information was, because where the interview came from that people were kind of referring back to, was on a show called Black Love that's on Oprah Winfrey Network. And it's a show that centers around mostly celebrity Black couples, or at least like half celebrity couple or whatever. Somebody's famous or well-known in one aspect or another. And they just kind of tell their love story, and they kind of talk about how they fell in love, why they fell in love, why they're still together, how things happen, how they fight, how they make up, like the dynamics, you know? And it's usually pretty fucking adorable and annoying to the single people, but it's very inspiring, and it's very it's just beautiful to see, and I'm just always been glad that they had a show and they titled it that. They didn't try to dumb it down or whitewash it or something to make people feel comfortable. It's like, no, this is Black love, so that's what we're talking about here.
Right.
And so people were coming down on the show to say like 5 couples have broken up since they've been on Black Love, but let's just say that they've had a few seasons, and I'm sure there's about 30 to 40 couples that we've seen, so the percentage is small.
It's like one couple for each season, just about.
Yeah. And the thing is like, people are going to break up anyway. A lot of people go on shows, reality shows, go on podcasts, and do all kinds of work together and placate their relationship like it's all good. I just found out that 2 of my favorite anchors were married. They were married and divorced and have a kid, and I never knew it because they don't act, they don't put it out there, they don't look at each other weird when they're on camera together, and it's just normal.
A lot of times people, when they be going through that, they be already split, but they show up because the paycheck is, so they show up and they play the role even though they're not together. That's just how it goes. That's entertainment.
Yeah, because what was that other couple? Monique from the Housewives of Potomac.
Oh yeah,
and her husband are like breaking up, which was actually very shocking to me.
I don't think they were on there.
Just seemed like they had a really good like spiritual connection, and that they were very like in touch with each other. But his mama hated her, so I know her.
But there was like a lot of gossip going on about them too, and that's the thing, is like they had came out on video saying that they were not divorcing when all those rumors came out. And then it's like, what,
the first time, right?
Change later. Yeah. And then like a year and some change later. It's just like, I could not be famous. I would be the worst famous person ever. Like, I could not. I'd be cussing you bitches out all the fucking time. And I can see why celebrities clap back. I'm sorry, because people get so fucking disrespectful. And they act like you're not going through the same shit. Like, because there's some money involved. Like, that's supposed to make things easier. That probably makes shit more fucking difficult. You know what I mean? And it's just putting your shit out there on display when other people are going to act like they don't have the same problems because their shit ain't out there and don't nobody know who the fuck they are. It just opens you up to so much scrutiny, and I think that's bullshit. Let me tell you something about the mess, though. I'm going to watch it, okay? But I don't want to be in it. I will watch that shit. I'm sorry. And now we got the strike. We got the strike going on. What we gonna watch during the fall? Reality fucking
TV. I know. You just gotta watch
the
things you always wanted to.
Right. Go in the vault. Like, oh damn, this been on my list for 15 fucking years. I'm gonna watch it now because I ain't got shit else to watch. Yeah.
And I'll say to that point, I am a SAG-AFTRA member. I am on strike, but I can still do commercials. Okay, but the point is, it's really hard right now to know what to do as a viewer to support.
Right.
Like my mom was like, what do I do? Do I not watch TV? Do I watch more TV? And I was like, I don't know. I can't tell you because they haven't gotten that far yet. I feel like, you know, it's difficult to just to not watch TV in this day and age, but I think we'll probably get to a point, like if this strike goes on and we get to like a year, or we get to like Christmas or something, because we don't have a fall lineup. Like just everybody forget about the fall. Your show's not coming back in the fall. It's gone, okay? But if we get to like next summer or the holiday season, then I'm going to say that's going to be the point when people are going to say, or when the unions and the actors and the writers are going to say, cancel your subscriptions, put them on hold, stop watching all of the streaming platforms, just watch cable, or cancel your cable. I mean, I don't know when we're going to get there, but I think it might get there at some point, because I know right now it seems very like fluffy and it's like, oh, this is super cute. We're out here and we're striking and I got my shirt. But this ain't cute. This is detrimental to a lot of working people. It's detrimental to a lot of people who want to be working, who have been working really hard for a break for many, many years and are getting killed right now. With bills and just have no way of of doing the thing that they love to do, the thing they escape, the passion, the love, the art, the thing. So I'll get back to y'all on what you could do, but for now I would say keep watching things, because I guess that shows that it's needed and that people like watching actors, right? So if there's an AI TV show out, I would say don't watch that. And that's all I can really, I don't know, that's all I can really say, because otherwise we're still just kind of in the mud, and it's really just hard to say what to do, man.
I mean, that's AI just made the conversation that much more complicated. So,
you know, and there's really nothing we can do about it. It's here.
Yeah, this is bad timing for there to even be a situation like this when AI is now like officially here. It just makes the conversation that much more complicated, because you know you don't really have leverage when you have AI, right? It makes it that if you're trying to take a stand for something and they can just replace you with some shit that ain't even fucking human, you know what I mean? Like that shit buries your leverage, you know.
And let me tell you, let me for people who this doesn't make any sense. I'm sure it doesn't make sense to a lot of people, and people are just kind of going along with it or listening and not really comprehending. But just think of this. Think of Tom Cruise.
Yeah.
Tom Cruise makes, I don't know what the fuck, probably 20 million a film. Okay. And his whole, like, he's got stunt people, he's got people who look kind of like him, like he's got a bunch of stunt people that all have like different variations of his face.
Yeah.
And those people get paid to do stunts for him or to stand in for him or whatever.
Yeah.
And so all those people would be moot. All those people would go away. They would never be used again. Okay. Tom Cruise would then, if he said yes, they could just take Tom Cruise's image and replicate movies over and over and over and over without Tom Cruise being there. But they can use his image, whatever it is. You can use his image and just keep replicating it. And then you replicate all the people in the background, pay them one time, $50. And now I can use these background people. I can put them wherever I need to put them in this Tom Cruise movie. Mm-hmm. I don't need cameras. I don't need writers. I'll just tell an AI app, hey, okay, Tom Cruise, action adventure, has a daughter, has a sad moment, and rescues her in the end. And then a script appears, and nobody was there. Nobody had to be there to make the movie.
Yeah, I think even that is too short-sighted. Like
I'm just trying. No, I'm just trying to break it down in a way that's at least easy to understand why. Why actors are striking now, because that's what they want to be able to do, is to pocket the money and not have to pay Tom Cruise anymore, but still use Tom Cruise and still say Tom Cruise right across the top of the movie, beginning of the credits. There it is. There he is. Looks just like him. Sounds like him. All those people, they can do Mission Impossible till the end of time, and he ain't even got to be there, and he won't get paid.
I think they're heading in that direction with or without permission. Like, I feel like autonomy is being
the entertainment's not going anywhere.
Yeah, I feel like autonomy is being attacked. Like, I feel like there's going to be a point where they're not going to be worried about whether or not they have a fucking Tom Cruise permission to be able to do something. Now, is that a violation of our rights? Is that a violation of rights? Absolutely, right? But since when the fuck do they not find loopholes? Since when are loopholes are not figured out? Right? There's something, even if they don't particularly go straight for Tom Cruise, something will happen, right?
I don't know, because there's just so much stan culture now. And so I don't know if people are really going to go for that shit.
And it's one of those things where it's like, just because you can do something doesn't mean that you should do it.
Mm-hmm. Well,
just because we can replicate all the. My thing is, listen, why are we using AI to do something good, like cool down the planet or get all the trash out of the ocean, or I don't know what?
Because that doesn't help their pockets.
It would help their pockets, but it's not about the greater good. It's about the legacy of money now.
Jets and all that stupid shit. So. Okay, has there been an actual show, an episode, or a movie that was strictly AI written? Because my thing is like, okay,
written, you said?
Yeah, or
Oh, just written.
Yeah.
Oh, we don't. How are you supposed to know? There's no way to tell.
But like completely, because do they have like an emotional, like they can't have an emotional sense about them, right? Sure. So laughing, crying.
This is what they're saying. Right. This is what they're saying. It's like, yeah, a robot can generate a script. Cool. Yeah. Is it going to actually generate emotions from human beings? Is it actually going to evoke emotion? Is it going to be funny? Is it going to be, you know what I mean? So
just not facts.
Exactly. That's the point. Not just a script that reads, because then if what you're saying becomes true and like they are able to create emotion in these, then we're gonna have robots winning Oscars. There ain't gonna be nobody at the Oscars. We're gonna be sitting and looking at a bunch of, like, there's not gonna be a need to do the Oscars, or it's all gonna be digital, and you're gonna thank a robot, or a robot's gonna win, and the robot's gonna be like, you know what I mean? So there's just it's like we always wanted the Jetsons, and now we're getting there.
That's exactly what I was
ain't thinking about the fact that Rose was a robot.
Right.
The nanny, the maid was a robot, and she lived with them.
Right. And look at the Brady Bunch. Alice was a person.
Alice was a person.
So
there's just, I think in the end, it just ends up being a choice. I'm sure there are some people who are like, cool, great, I don't care.
Yeah. I think sometimes we're so fascinated by technology, like that McDonald's that is like strictly like there's no fucking employees there type shit.
Right.
What? Because what happens? Why would you want that? Because what happens the day like this shit goes down? Because it's very fucking possible. Hello. Motherfuckers, we always getting hacked. If the internet is down, we're fucked. Internet went down the other day in my neighborhood. I was like,
yeah.
I was like, the internet was down, and I said, my parents live like a 2-minute drive from me. I said, I'm about to go play with my dog.
Well, at least that's what you said, and I'm about to lose some Wi-Fi from my parents.
I see him all the time. No, theirs was down too. Their internet was down too, and they love their fucking TV. Okay, and so I was like,
listen, maybe that's the answer. Unplug the fucking internet and just stop all this shit.
Right. So there's like a neighborhood page on Facebook, and somebody was like, "Oh, nothing brings the community together like an AT&T outage." And it was so
sad.
True. It's true. Shit.
God.
I know, but that's.
But you're right.
And this is this is the age that we fucking live in. Social media. Like, everybody does not deserve a fucking platform, but here we are.
Yeah.
We hear everybody's fucking responses, all the shit, and then everything goes viral.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The biggest thing is, though, this is going to affect everything. And I think that's the bigger thing that people aren't grasping it. Like, this is going to affect every job, everything eventually. Even the people, even the performers on the Strip, I'm like, y'all should be out here too, because it could be just like that the whole Las Vegas Strip decides to go AI, and y'all are, and Cirque du Soleil is a bunch of arrows in the sky, or a bunch of, you know, AI robots roaming around, and you won't even know the difference. But everybody is out of a job.
How is it truly working from home, Micah?
There are ups and downs. I think it just depends on the kind of job that you have. Like, I'm not exactly, I'm a case manager for a life insurance company. So I'm not like, see, call center work, like people who work in my wife works for a call center, but she works from home too. That's a rough job. That's a rough job. It don't matter what company.
That's a rough job either way.
She's not she's not in a job where she works, you know, where the call center environment is extraordinarily painful to deal with. Like some of them are, but it's still a rough job just being stuck at your desk waiting for the phone to ring, you know, whether it's going off every time you hang up the phone, another call comes in, or whether you have to wait, you're stuck with that headphone or with that headset at your desk with nothing to be able to do until you take your break, and then your lunch, and then your other break, or whatever. With me, I'm a case manager. I get up, I walk away from my desk whenever I feel like it. If, you know, so I have a little bit more freedom in the job that I have, because I'm working cases. I'm just dealing with whatever's going on. And so,
but she's gotta help people, like, troubleshoot and solve issues
constantly. So her situation,
and people are mean,
and people are mean.
When they're frustrated,
people, they don't want
it's hot.
to. Her website she was showing me today is very, very user friendly, but you know, that sounds good coming from somebody who's doing a job. When you actually have to
right,
and you're trying to figure shit out, you don't really want to deal with the headache. You're like, yo, it's just I could take 15 minutes on this fucking website, or I could call somebody who can answer my question in 2 minutes. Like, I don't have the time for this, you know. So a lot of times those are the calls that she gets. They be shit that be real simple. Somebody might not even be logged into the website, you know, like they'll be looking at the site and be like, I'm on the site and I don't understand. And they're like, well, are you logged in? They'd be like, oh shit. Like, you know what I mean? So there be stupid stuff like that she has to deal with. So it's like, depending on the job that you actually have while you're working from home, great. That said, while we're still talking about the AI, a fucking computer could do my job for me. I send a lot of emails all day. Like, I have to make calls, but you know, if it's a robot, you know, robots can communicate with each other.
And I mean, think about it. There's already companies where customer service is nobody. You're calling a number. Some of these airlines, you know, you're calling a number and it's just press this number. Oh, we are only up from these hours to these hours, and those hours aren't really real. And you know, you got to be on East Coast time or West Coast time or Central time, or, you know,
my complex, you can't even call you can't even call the leasing office no more. They send you to a fucking like a voicemail or something that you just, if you have something to say, you got to leave a voicemail and maybe they'll call you back. Probably not. But whenever you got like an issue or something, you just got to go on the website and put a ticket in. You cannot communicate with anybody. You'll have to take.
Oh, that's so frustrating.
Yeah, so you have to go up to the if you want to speak to somebody live, you have to go up to the office. Like, I don't know if
the other day with my HOA, they were like, send an email, and I'm like, but I'm talking to you.
Yeah.
Why would I send you an email?
Yeah.
Like, that doesn't actually make sense. If I'm talking to you right now, why would you want me to send you an email about the issue that I just told you about, that you're on the phone with me? You can't just deal with me?
They're contributing to the AI problem by having this shit happen. You don't want to deal with somebody, where you don't want to deal with people. Granted, people are very difficult to deal with at times, right? So you don't want to deal with people. So you just contribute to the problem by sending people to websites, sending people to, you know, voicemails, and Y'all deal with shit. I'll check my
Chat
voicemail
boxes.
later. Chat box. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a scam. Another scam. Another lie.
Yeah.
Make you think you're talking to somebody. You ain't talking to nobody.
Yeah.
It's just like
I ask complicated questions. If I ever have to go to chats, I ask complicated questions to make sure that I'm talking to a human.
Yeah.
I'll be like,
no
yo,
yes
I know
no
some.
questions.
Yeah, I'll see their names pop up on the thing or whatever. I'm like, that's a unique name. I've never heard that before. Have you? I mean, like, I'll ask some shit that's like way the fuck off the wall to see what their response is.
Huh?
Because you can only prepare for so many questions. The general
Yeah.
shit that you're dealing with is just like a standard. So there's only so many questions they can insert into like a template and have people or have AI answer.
Right.
And then at some point,
they do that on Instagram already on certain sites like that want you to be like ambassadors or whatever. Like it'll just start it like no matter what you say, it'll already have a number. The little bubbles will be going before you've even
100%.
answered.
Yep.
And you're just like, what are you about to say?
Have you ever been on a website and they'll have a tab that says like contact us and there's absolutely no motherfucking phone number?
No phone number.
No
just
phone
number.
Yes. Because I hate
or one of those like contact us, put your name, your first name, your last name, your address,
or like
your social.
Yeah, or like the chat and it'll be like, okay, what's your problem? We don't have a list, and then you'll have to go to other. And then it's like, no, my shit's not on there. What the fuck can I get to?
Those are never I hate stuff like that. The FAQ or whatever, like my question is never on the FAQ.
Yeah, them just don't never answer the question you have.
It's never on the FAQ. So
sometimes they'll give you
can the FAQ, okay?
Bruh. Just give me a fucking
throw it in the trash. Just get rid of it. Yeah. Oh, did y'all see Erykah Badu getting her John Boyega? She called this boy out and she was like, somebody tell John Boyega I said he's fine as hell. And then they asked how old he was, and somebody was like, he's 30-something. And she was like, yes, nuts are still tight. And then this nigga walked out on the stage. Yeah. And she was like, yeah, so I'm working, but we can go back to the bus. Is that cool after? I was like, don't look her in the eyes.
That nigga finna be in a diaper and a sombrero in like 3 weeks.
Don't look her in the eyes, man. They already said Erica's eyes.
Everybody who fucking Erica does some other shit. Like he finna
whole song about it.
Yeah, you fuck with Erica, she gonna turn you into something else. That's that Piscean energy.
Yeah, I mean she's very powerful.
I might meet Erica and turn into somebody else. Like that, it's the energy.
That's what I'm saying. I wouldn't even look in her eyes. I want to. I really want to look in her
over
eyes.
There.
She got some beautiful eyes, but she knows her power, and that's why I love her.
And some people just have it. Some people just have a je ne sais quoi. Some people just have a power. They do. They really fucking do.
All right. Well, listen. What'd you say?
So we just went to her show a couple weeks ago.
Oh yeah.
It was fire.
Oh yeah. I've never seen her live. I did just see Jill Scott, and I'm not gonna say they're like in the same lane. They kind of sort of are. I don't know, but I saw Jill Scott at Essence, and I was like, I think I got a girl crush on her. I've been a fan.
Oh, the new national anthem.
Yeah. No, just the whole entire thing. Just this energy that she radiates. She is fucking beautiful, first of all. Beautiful. And that voice is just, and then when she was singing, I was like, that's why, like, being an 80s baby, I think we have the best. I think this was the best time to be born because we got to experience the older music that our families, grew up on. And then we listened to 90s R&B and then like early 2000s neo soul. Like, what a fucking time. Yeah. But she was singing from that first album, and I was like, oh my God. Like, I forgot she did this song. That bitch was the shit.
Yeah.
There's just certain... Amen. And so I was like, I would love to go see her, like, just live completely. And Erykah Badu was on that list, too, because
fire. Erykah was fire. Her show was crazy. So, yeah.
So if you ever get a chance, anybody out there, if you've never seen any Erykah...
Definitely go see.
Jill or India or any of the neo soul lights out there,
go to the concert. Go to the concert.
Maxwell, that's who I saw. That was my neo soul moment, and that was amazing. Okay, I mean, I was not expecting that.
Love him.
But he He did it. So, shout out to the Neo Soul. And we're going to take a little breaky break. And we're going to come back and talk about this transnation. The translation of the transnation. Whatever. Come back, because we're gonna be talking about if the rights of the transgenders are going too far, or if they just have not gone far enough, people. So I'm gonna need your opinions. So Vic and Mike will be back, and take a break and love on yourself for a minute. Okay, we'll be back, and we love you. If you can't stay, we thank you for listening, and come back for the next episode when you can. All right, we love you and we thank you, but come back. Okay.